How's quarantine?
It's bad. It's really bad. Yeah.
Has it gotten worse or has it gotten better?
It's gotten worse.
Why?
यार पता नहीं मुझे काफ़ी मज़ा आता है लोगों से मिलने का और इंटरेक्ट करने का लोगों से अभी ये social isolation is really getting to me.
But I've seen that you've been riding your bike a lot.
Yeah, I do that. Except I rode it so much that I bruised my tailbone.
No.
Yeah. And then I was on bed rest for like a week. और अब मैंने कल फिर से चलाई है और फिर मुझे दर्द होना शुरू हो गया तो मैंने फिर मिस कर
Bruising your tailbone sounds like a nice way of just saying that.
Yeah,
you really hurt your ass.
Yeah, that was bad.
How did you
Never
do it?
bruise your tailbone, by the way.
How did you do it?
Yeah, I rode like 50 kilometers. I went from my house in Defense Phase 6 to all the way to Mayo Gardens का पता है? शिमला पहाड़ी का पता है? HSN का पता है ना?
आप तो बात कर शिमला पहाड़ी पता है मुझे.
HSN का तो पता है ना? HSN किधर है?
हाँ.
वहाँ तक साइकिल चला के गया था मैं.
अच्छा.
और फिर वहाँ से.
How long is that? What's the distance?
That's like 25 kilometers. यहाँ मेरे घर से वहाँ तक.
How long does that take?
Yeah, the whole ride took me like 2 hours 30 minutes. तो पता नहीं 1 hour 45 minutes to go over there. हाँ. फिर वहाँ पे मैं जहाँ पे पहले रहता था मेयो गार्डन्स में वहाँ पे मैं फिर रहा था. फिर वहाँ से वापस आ रहा था एयरपोर्ट वाली साइड से. तो काफ़ी लंबी राइड थी और बीच में काफ़ी बम्पी जगहों पे मैं चला गया था. तो अगले दिन बस मुझे बहुत दर्द हो रही थी.
I've heard it's a very burger hobby nowadays. Even I bought a bike just like 2 weeks ago.
I think it's a nice
I'm being burger shamed for it already.
No, you should like. I don't think you should burger shame anyone for it. I think driving a car is more burger than riding a bicycle. हाँ. थोड़ा सा आप ज़्यादा connected हो ना streets के साथ.
But actually, every single time I've ridden it, I'm like, this is a really nice way to just get around.
हाँ.
If it wasn't so hot.
I think burgers should own up to this activity, ठीक है? Because like it's not, you're not harming the environment, you're actually being physically active. तो बेहतर तरीका.
I mean, everyone knows the physical benefits of riding a bike. I think it's just seen as one of those things where people buy like expensive bikes, like all the gear, no idea kind of thing. You know, like if I saw someone riding around with lycras and a bike helmet and like a proper like road bike, I would be a bit like, dude, like, come on.
No. Why? That's just you being judgmental, dude.
I guess.
You're being kind of a dick.
But I wouldn't say that if someone was riding around in like a
obviously you won't
car.
say it, but you're thinking it. वो usually road bikes.
Lycra's थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा है नहीं?
क्या? Lycra?
You know the skin tight like cycling suits?
Oh, dude, that's actually really like if someone.
That's you, isn't it?
No, that's not me. That's not me. ठीक है. But the thing is कि वो जो skin tight suits होते हैं, if someone's wearing that, then they're probably a professional cyclist.
That's true.
तो उनको
they
नहीं
need
तो कह
that
सकता
extra
कि
like mile per hour.
हाँ, उनको नहीं तो कह सकता कि यार ये तो ऐसे ही कोई शोधिया मार रहे हैं. वो probably बस उनका काम है ये, वो प्रोफेशनली करते हैं. उन्होंने बड़ा इन्वेस्टमेंट किया अपनी इस चीज़ के अंदर.
That's true. जज नहीं करना चाहिए basically is what we're saying.
मतलब वो उनको तो बिल्कुल भी ना कर. वो बहुत तेज़ होते हैं. मतलब वो लोग हमारे से नहीं एफिलिएटेड. हम जो कम्युनिटी जो क्वारंटीन के अंदर निकली है साइकिल.
Yeah, that just learned to ride a bike like 2 weeks ago.
हाँ, exactly. It's not the same.
Yeah, I feel like people can't do their own intro, so I'm going to give your intro.
हाँ, that's.
I know.
मैं गाड़ी में यही सोच रहा था कि यार I don't know how to introduce myself.
And this is all I've written for your intro. You've led a very unsuccessful life, it appears like.
बस like just
6
do
feet
it.
away, so
if you're like मैं तो correct कर दूँगा अगर तू.
नहीं, बहुत अच्छा. Misbah's intro. So, Misbah, you are a musician.
That's true.
Who has been seen on Nescafe Basement. Yes. And you have your own band called Keeray Makoray.
I have my own band.
And you're also a session musician for a load of other bands as well, whenever they need your services.
Yeah.
Or you've also done a lot of solo work. Two of your.
I mean, not a lot.
Well, you have two tracks. Two tracks out, right?
That's not a lot.
Badal and Sitare. It's not a lot, but you have some solo work. And you also run your own studio called Rescue the Frog Studio.
Yeah.
And me and you know each other through the Smog City sessions, which we do as part of collaboration with Mosiki and Rescue the Frog Studio.
I think we knew each other before that.
We knew each other, but not very well.
Yeah.
Like just वैसे ही like I know of you.
हाँ, I knew of you. I knew of your work. मैंने reach out किया था कि यार ये हम ये करते हैं.
Really?
हाँ, you don't remember that?
नहीं,
मैंने तुझे कहा था कि dude like let's do this ये Smog City session वाला scene और फिर तूने कहा था कि on है.
अच्छा. I forgot that.
Really?
In my head it's all my idea.
think हमें Instagram की conversation में scroll up करके बस बिल्कुल top पे पहुँच.
अच्छा, that was the worst intro ever, but it means that you have had like how many years have you been making music in Pakistan?
Making music?
No.
I bought a guitar when I was like around 14, 15. Yeah, 14. And like probably एक साल बाद तक बस बजा रहा था और बना रहा था music. I was really good friends with Zain Pirzada from Takatak. He was like my best friend. So both of us used to make a lot of music back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Was that with a band?
Yeah, at first it was just the two of us making music. And we used to make a lot of heavy metal music back then. And after that, we did form a band. It was called Borstal Escape.
Acha, it's a heavy metal band.
It was a heavy metal band.
I haven't heard of it.
No, this is way back. This is probably when you weren't even around.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been around at that time.
You weren't around, and there was this whole metal scene going on.
I was
like
yet to be
indie
born.
music scene exists नहीं करता था उस time पे. It was just metal. It was a lot of heavy metal bands जो के बस weird सी gigs करते थे.
What was that scene like? Because I have a friend who was also part of a band that I can't mention the name of. Do you know which one I'm talking about? It's a part of the male anatomy that gets removed from a lot of
Bleep
Muslim
कर
boys.
देना ना. Foreskin. Hassan Umar.
नहीं, Amar Ali.
Amar, the filmmaker.
So he, like, just from his character, na, I'm like, that must have been pretty fun times.
It was fun. It was a small. Actually, it wasn't that small by the end of it, but like it was a community of kids that were really angry and who loved to play metal music and who loved noise. It was really noisy. Like I don't remember one gig जिसके अंदर मैंने कहा कि oh यार बड़ा smooth सा sound. It was always noisy. Like there was a lot of feedback and everyone was really passionate about playing heavy metal music.
Where were these gigs happening?
All over the place, everywhere. बीच में तो एक point आया था जब कोई अपना घर भी offer कर देता था कि मेरे घर पे gig होएगी, तो ऐसा भी होता था. And then like लोगों ने events इस तरह के organize कराना शुरू कर दिए जो कि recurring events थे. For example, Mosh Pit एक event था. वो बस एक banquet halls में भी होते थे कभी कभार. एक शादियों के halls के अंदर जाके ये Mosh Pit वाली gigs हो रही होती थी. I remember एक दफ़ा हम लोगों की एक gig हुई थी ग्लोरिया जीन में और वहाँ पे because we were a heavy metal band and we sort of attracted that heavy metal crowd to that new cafe, तो वहाँ पे एक mosh pit शुरू हो गई थी और फिर हमें उन लोगों ने बैन कर दिया था यहाँ से. और जिन लोगों ने
You had a mosh pit in Gloria Jeans?
Yeah.
Nice, okay.
Started getting pretty crazy. But yeah, I'm kind of glad कि वो scene खत्म हो गया.
क्यों?
थोड़ा सा.
I mean, at least people were passionate, no?
Yeah, but it was like I guess you could say the same thing about the indie culture right now, but वो बहुत ही एक छोटा सा culture था जिसके अंदर I just feel कि if like because of a certain pressure to make heavy metal music, because if you were doing something else बहुत easily ये particular community कहना शुरू हो जाती थी कि this guy is a sellout. And this guy,
really okay, that's
and
pretty.
This guy is just making music to make money, even though like it's really hard to make money from music anyway.
Yeah.
But वो होता था जिसकी वजह से a lot of these bands were just making heavy metal music just for the sake of it.
What time are we talking about? This was in the 90s?
This was probably
early 2000s.
This was like no, this was like 2005 till 2010 type.
ठीक है. And so you would get labeled a sellout if you had done, even if you tried to make any kind of money from
there was definitely a distinction between those guys and then these guys that were making the real shit.
And which one were you? Were you a sellout?
I was making the real shit.
Acha. And then
I was one of the metal guys, right?
So you were pointing the fingers at other people when they started making money. Nahi.
Yeah.
Kyun?
But at the same time, अंदर ही अंदर मैं सोचता था नहीं यार ये भी fit music कर रहे हैं, ये लोग भी fit हैं.
You were secretly jealous.
No, I wasn't really jealous because those guys weren't doing as well either.
They were just making a little bit of money.
No one was making any money out of it. It was just impossible to make any.
So why did that fail? Why did you break up that band? This was with Zen from Takatak?
Yeah, this was with Zen from Takatak. We broke up that band. Well, no one really broke up that band. That band just disappeared. Our drummer left the country, and then me and Zen, we came to Lakas, which was our school when we were doing our A-levels. And that's when we met Yusuf Rame. The drummer. And that's when we decided to make Takatak.
Mm-hmm.
And when we made Takatak, that's when I wanted to do like music that wasn't metal.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wanted to make some groovy stuff. And we made a lot of, like, not a lot of songs, but we made like 5-6 songs during that time. And then we did all of those Battle of the Bands, Lums Olympiad type cheezeं नहीं होती थी.
Mm-hmm.
And we would always win. Like वो 2 साल A-levels के every competition that we went to, we would win to the point कि हम बोलते थे कि यार ये बहुत unfair बात है कि हम लोग इन competitions में जाके जीत जाते हैं और बड़े और भी bands हैं.
That's a pretty big humble brag right there.
I'm sorry man, but it's true.
We should give the other people a chance to win as well.
हाँ, पर हम फिर भी चले जाते थे और जीत जाते थे.
Why? Because you were the most talented musicians at the
place? हाँ, I think Yusuf का काफ़ी ज़्यादा उसके अंदर part था क्योंकि Yusuf is still someone जिसको अगर मैं कभी देखता हूँ drums बजाते हुए तो I'm like holy fuck this guy is. Can I swear by the way?
Yeah, go for it.
अच्छा हाँ कि this guy is really good.
बहुत. Yeah, both of those brothers.
Whenever he would start playing, people would be amazed. और वो judges वाला एक system होता था और judges को होता था कि अच्छा these like वो बंदा तो बहुत ही talented है, but वो जो 2 boys उसके साथ हैं वो भी उसके साथ बजा रहे हैं. They're also kind of talented, so this band has to win.
Mm-hmm.
He always had that edge over a lot of people.
Mm. Nice. So after you won all those, then what happened?
After I what?
After you won all those competitions.
What happened after that was we formed Takatak during that time. Shit, पूरी story सुन रहे हो तुम तो यार. वो फिर उसके बाद ये हुआ कि
abridged version बताओ तो ना. बस brief version बता दो.
उसका brief version as such है नहीं. उसका बस ये version है कि what happened कि so Zain and Yusuf, they always wanted to play heavy metal music, and I've known Zain for a really long time, since I was a kid. So he's always like he wasn't one of those guys that was playing metal just because they wanted to sound cool. He really is
to the
like
bone.
He's the most legitimate metalhead I know.
Achha.
And so he's always been making heavy music, and him and Yusuf, they really wanted to make some heavy music. Like they wanted to cover Lamb of God songs and stuff like that. So they got a guy called Shazor Bhatti, who was a pretty famous growler during that time, and they got him to join the band. And that's when I was like, I don't think I'm comfortable with this situation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I quit the band and I formed Keeray Makoray with Altamash and a couple of other guys.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
That's the
and brief. Then Keeray Makoray was more what differentiated that sound? It was more funky, right?
It wasn't funky at all in the beginning. It was just, I don't even know what it was, but it wasn't heavy metal. That's what I knew. Because the main problem that I had with Takatak was that they were growling and they were playing really heavy music. I didn't want to play really heavy music. I did want to play heavy music, but not like that heavy.
Yeah.
So Keeray Makoray at first when we started off was more Iron Maiden-ish, because Altamash was a huge Bruce Dickinson fan and he wanted to make songs like Iron Maiden, so we made that. But then I was a huge Opeth fan and a Porcupine Tree fan, so I wanted to make songs like that, so we made those songs. And then eventually when Nescafe Basement happened and we met Jibran Saeed, who was a saxophonist, he got Altamash and myself into a lot of funk music. Like George Benson sunata tha, or the new Master Sounds and stuff like that. And that's when we were like, let's make some funk music. And then we worked on an entire EP, जो कि हमने बहुत देर बाद जाके release की थी. But
and that had those kind of saxophone, more funky influenced in it.
Yeah.
Then what happened after that?
After that,
I remember seeing you guys at at Levi's a lot. How many times did you play at Levi's?
You saw us much later. Like when you saw us, like हम लोग तंग आ गए.
I saw you at LMM once, I think, like around 3-4 years ago. And then I saw you at Levi's, and I think those are and maybe once at the Mix. Did you guys play at the Mix?
Yeah.
As Keeray Makoray? So then I've seen you 3 times.
Definitely. Mix पे बजाया था. The thing was, as Keeray Makoray, we made a lot of songs and we used to do a lot of gigs क्योंकि so like in Keeray Makoray what happened was,
sellouts.
In Keeray Makoray what happened, we weren't making any money, by the way. These were just free gigs. So in Keeray Makoray eventually what happened was कि मैं और अल्तमश थे, and then there was a bunch of other musicians in the band, but because we had some differences and those guys weren't giving the band enough time, we actually ended up hiring Yusuf and Daud as the drummer for Keeray Makoray, and then Zain joined in as the bassist for Keeray Makoray.
Hiring का क्या मतलब है?
मतलब उनको हमने बोला कि बॉयज आ जाओ बस. मतलब कि ऐसा कोई फॉर्मल प्रोसेस नहीं था. बस इस तरह था कि मुझे ज़रूरत थी ड्रम्स की, तो मैंने यूसुफ से बोला कि यार इसके ऊपर तुम ड्रम्स बजा दो, बिकॉज वी आर ऑल रियली गुड फ्रेंड्स. तो उस तरीके से अब वो जो टकाटक हाइब्रिड एक बैंड बन गया सही है कि मतलब अच्छा अगर इस ग्रुप में से मिसबा को निकाल दो तो वो टकाटक बन जाता है. और मिसबा और
this is one thing I find really funny about some of the Lahore bands is that it's literally just like, oh, it's those guys again. And it's like, which band is this? Well, it's minus this person, so it's probably this band. It's like a weird algebra equation that you have to like x plus.
क्योंकि this is something that you've witnessed now, because over time what happened was there was a lot of musicians back then जब ये सब कुछ हो रहा था, लेकिन over time a lot of musicians just started getting day jobs and they started taking life more seriously than we did. तो अब जो कम्युनिटी है वो बस बहुत ही छोटी सी हो गई है ना, कि मतलब सारे लोग एक दूसरे को जानते हैं और सबको बस पता है कि यही बंदा है जो फुल टाइम म्यूज़िक कर रहा है. तो इस वजह से बस वो it's a lot of
the same people. Because I know the Rame brothers, they just play drums for everyone.
That's dude, पाकिस्तान में 3-4 ड्रमर्स हैं टोटल. मैं अभी गिन के बता सकता हूँ कि कितने ड्रमर्स हैं. मतलब यूसुफ है, दाऊद है, बिलावल है, कामी पॉल है, फिर आहत न्यानी है, और कौन है?
I don't know.
1-2 और हैं जिनके मुझे नाम नहीं याद आ रहे. But that's it.
Yeah.
और लाहौर के अंदर तो वो तब यही है, ये तीनों हैं. 4 drummers हैं ऐसे लाहौर.
So what does that do to the music? Do you think it makes it a little bit too cliquey? मतलब कि everyone, because if you work with the same people, don't all of your influences end up melding together and you just kind of end up rehashing yourselves again and again? I'm not saying that I feel this to your music, मैं वैसे ही कह रहा हूँ, if you've ever felt this while making the music.
पता नहीं, it's not like that black and white. That really depends on the kind of music that you want to make. I mean, like बहुत सी म्यूज़िक के अंदर जनूबी खरगोश यूसुफ को यूज़ कर लेता है किसी गाने के लिए, एंड यू कैन बेयरली टेल कि वो यूसुफ बजा रहा है क्योंकि वो इतना इलेक्ट्रॉनिक साउंडिंग ड्रम्स होते हैं. तो डिपेंड्स ऑन अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स. बट वो दोनों भाई इतने वर्सेटाइल हैं और उन लोगों ने इतने म्यूजिशियंस के साथ बजा लिया है कि मतलब वो बहुत ईजिली अडेप्ट कर लेते हैं डिफरेंट म्यूजिकल स्टाइल्स के साथ.
Like I don't mean specifically the drummers, I mean generally the scene as a whole. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, the scene as a whole.
Because it's you know, specifically the indie scene, because it's so few people.
Yeah,
do you ever feel that, you know,
like for example as a session musician, I don't, like for example if I'm playing with the Zain Purich boy ka, to wo matlab I don't try to bring my funk element into his music. I would try and learn कि वो क्या किस तरीके से चाह रहा है कि मैं किस तरीके से बजाऊं. तो हाँ, उस तरीके से इतना म्यूजिकल इन्फ्लुएंस नहीं होता. It just helps me learn more about how these guys approach music. but I wouldn't try to change their music unless they want me to. तो उस तरीके से I don't think it limit करता है इतना ज़्यादा. In fact वो थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा that it actually helps us grow as musicians.
Yeah, but obviously it would help if the scene was bigger and more diverse and more just like a wider.
हाँ, exactly. Like जिस तरह for example India में apparently होता है कि like scene ज़रा ज़्यादा wider है and you get to play every day. You can go to clubs and play local bands वगैरह बना के and you can actually make some money off of that. वो वाला scene यहाँ पे नहीं है तो this.
Why don't you just go to India then?
Huh?
Why don't you just go to India then?
I can't. How do you go to India?
You're like, please get me out.
How do you go to India? There's no
knocking
way.
on the door. Acha, so we've gone through Keeray Makoray as well. Let's talk about your solo work as we're going rapidly through your career so far.
बहुत rapidly है.
Solo work के बारे में बताओ.
Solo work के बारे में क्या पूछना कुछ सवाल पूछेगा तो बताऊँ.
यार तेरे अभी तक 2 ही गाने हैं तेरे पास तो.
यार हाँ 2 ही गाने.
But I would say about that the 2 songs you've released have been really nice and really good ones, and Sitare especially was pretty successful, like you know.
हाँ surprisingly कुछ समझ नहीं लगी. मैं भी आज तक उसके views देखता हूँ और मैं कहता हूँ कि यार ये तो इसके almost 14,000 views हैं YouTube पे. which is like quite a lot compared to all the other stuff that's been coming out from the indie scene, and then like no one really knows me and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, anyway,
why do you think that worked so well? Were you expecting it to do well?
I don't know. I wasn't really expecting it. I used to say कि ये गाना बड़ा hit होएगा और लोग बड़ा मुझे कहते थे कि ये गाना hit होएगा. सही है. But I wasn't really expecting it because like generally whatever music I have been making, I've never expected it to ever make it big, and that kind of also sort of shows in the music. उसके अंदर उस तरह के elements होते नहीं हैं, but I don't know why people liked it. I don't really know. I guess वो उसके अंदर nostalgia काफ़ी था, काफ़ी नाज़िया हसन vibes डालने की कोशिश की थी उसमें.
Do you ever make money? Do you ever make music from that point of view about the audience? Do you ever think about that?
I do in terms of ke, like this is something that I didn't do with Sitare, but I have started doing it ke ab jab when I'm looking at arrangements for a song, I am thinking about ke acha I'm listening to this song, but at a certain point I'm not going to be objective about this song. So I need a listener's perspective क्योंकि कुछ points के ऊपर if you're working on a song it's gonna start getting boring, so you have to make sure कि कौन से elements उसके अंदर musical candy क्या डालनी है so that the listener doesn't get bored. So I guess you can say कि हाँ वो ज़रा audience के but not in a way कि आजकल trendy क्या है या आजकल क्या चीज़ चल रही है उस तरीके से नहीं, just as a tool for arrangement I guess you need that perspective.
अब तक सिर्फ 2 ही गाने?
अभी तक तो सिर्फ 2 ही गाने हैं. मैंने रिसेंटली एक कवर रिलीज़ किया था.
यस, आमिर ज़की
वाला. वो तो ऐसे ही मैंने नादिर मेरा एक दोस्त था उसका आइडिया था.
थोड़ा सा बताओ उसके बारे में.
कवर के बारे में?
Because I had no idea that this existed even.
उसका बस सीन ये था कि बीच में यहाँ पे कोबलम्पी एक फेस्टिवल है जो बाद में मिकाल हसन करवा रहा है और लाइक इट्स अ रियली अमेजिंग इनिशिएटिव दैट वी आर गोना टॉक अबाउट लेटर. बट उसके लिए नादिर शहजाद फ्रॉम सिकंदर का मंदिर वो अक्सर यहाँ पे आ जाता है और फिर वो मेरे घर पे रहना शुरू हो जाता है. तो वो आके रह रहा था और उन दिनों मैं बस ये गाना बहुत सुन रहा था, डू यू रियली लव अनदर आमिर ज़की का. और आई वॉज जस्ट सरप्राइज टू फाइंड आउट कि उसको नहीं पता था कि ये गाना एग्जिस्ट करता है, क्योंकि मुझे लगता था कि हर किसी को पता है कि ये गाना एग्जिस्ट करता है. फिर मैंने और लोगों से पूछा और काफ़ी लोगों ने कहा कि नहीं हमें नहीं पता था. और मेरे लिए काफ़ी बड़ा ये माइंड फक था क्योंकि मुझे वो गाना बेहतर लगता है मेरा प्यार से. वो ज़रा ज़्यादा ऑथेंटिक लगता है मुझे. तो
पहला कौन सा बनाया था, मतलब which one was first?
I don't know which one was first. ये नहीं पता किसी को क्या, but I would like to assume कि ये Do You Really Love Another was the first version. उसके lyrics भी completely different हैं.
Yeah.
तो नादिर ने बस ये सजेस्ट किया था कि तुम्हें चाहिए कि तुम इस गाने को कवर करो, और मैंने कहा था ये बहुत आला आइडिया है, मुझे ये कवर करना चाहिए.
He sounds like a Italian mob boss. You should really cover this song.
I did, like I didn't do it because he sort of asked me to do it, but like I really liked the idea. इसलिए मैंने कर लिया.
Nice.
Yeah.
अच्छा, तो tell us a bit about Rescue the Frog Studio. Coming into what year did you start the studio?
पता नहीं यार, कितनी देर हो गई है.
5 साल हो गए.
5 साल तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं है, 2 साल हुए होंगे.
अच्छा.
हाँ.
You started quite recently then.
Yeah, it hasn't been that long.
अच्छा, I thought it was older than when I came.
नहीं, when I approached you for the Smog City sessions, वो start हुआ था और मैं बहुत उस feel में था कि like let's work and let's do stuff and release content and stuff like that. तो उस time पे तो start हुआ था वो पूरा scene. But हाँ, I think 2.5 years. That's it.
What's Rescue the Frog Studio about?
So it started off after I quit working for the advertisement industry, जिसके अंदर बस मैं घुस गया था किसी तरीके से.
How was that?
It was terrible.
How long were you in the advertising industry for?
About 10 months maybe.
Acha.
Yeah, before that I was doing journalism for 6 months, and then I couldn't make any money from that, so I quit and then joined the advertisement industry.
Why was it bad?
It's not objectively bad, but it's just not my cup of tea. I can't do that. I can't think that way.
कैसे?
कि मतलब उनके होता था कि कॉपीज लिखनी है और कैची चीजें लिखनी है and stuff like that.
अच्छा, not music. You weren't working in a musical capacity, or you were?
नहीं, I wasn't working
as a copywriter.
हाँ, as a copywriter.
अच्छा.
और मेरी डिग्री भी पॉलिटिकल साइंस की थी और बस फिर भी हायर हो गया था मैं.
अच्छा. मैंने सोचा कि तुम जिंगल्स बना रहे हो कुछ ऐसे.
नहीं, I wish that were true.
अच्छा.
वो ऐसा बिल्कुल भी नहीं था. I was just a guy who was a copywriter, a creative associate.
अच्छा.
तो बस उस तरीके से काम कर रहा था उस कैपेसिटी में. तो वो बड़ा.
तो उसमें कौन सा काम होता है? मतलब you just have to write. What do you have to write?
Essentially तो काम यही होता है कि फॉर एग्जांपल अगर कोई पोस्टर है, कोई किसी ब्रांड का, कोई पेप्सी का कोई पोस्टर है जिसमें वो पेप्सी की बोतल बनी है और कोई लड़की कुछ पी रही है वो बोतल, तो उसके नीचे आपने क्या लिखना है. मतलब अब डिजिटल मार्केटिंग की वजह से वो कॉन्स्टेंटली लाइक हर रोज कुछ ना कुछ पोस्ट कर रहे होते हैं ना. तो दे नीड लाइक अ लॉट ऑफ कॉपी राइटर्स फॉर दैट टू मेक दैट written content. But a copywriter is also sort of supposed to डायरेक्ट द डिज़ाइनर कि किस तरह का पोस्ट बनना चाहिए. वो पहले से डिसाइड कर रहा होता है कि क्या क्या पोस्ट करना है. तो मुझे याद है मैं डेल के सारे पोस्ट वगैरह डिज़ाइन कर रहा होता था और कंटेंट प्लान कर रहा. हाँ, डेल कंप्यूटर का. फेसबुक पे क्या लगाना है और सब कुछ. आई वॉज रियली अनहैप्पी वर्किंग इन दैट जॉब. ठीक है, आई वॉज अनहैप्पी बिकॉज जनरली आई डोंट लाइक एडवर्टाइजमेंट. नो ऑफेंस टू एनीवन दैट वर्क्स इन एडवर्टाइजमेंट, बट क्योंकि वो ऑब्वियसली उसकी वजह से कॉग्निटिव डिसोनेंस हो रही थी कि मुझे पसंद ही नहीं था ये काम, और मैं कह रहा था कि यार मैं क्यों कर रहा हूँ, बस मुझे पैसे कमाने हैं इसलिए मैं ये काम कर रहा हूँ. वाइल एट द सेम टाइम थोड़ा सा ये भी मेरे दिमाग में इंटरनल एक कॉन्फ्लिक्ट था कि मैं म्यूज़िशियन हूँ या मैं ना हूँ, क्या मुझे म्यूज़िक करनी चाहिए. और एक दफ़ा मुझे याद है आई वॉज वर्किंग ऑन दिस हलाल ब्रांड, लाइक एक ब्रांड था which was making these halal herbal products. And I was in charge of like writing the content for them कि ये हलाल है और इसके अंदर बिल्कुल भी pig fat नहीं यूज़ हुआ and stuff like that. तो वो जो पूरा like उसके जो owners थे और वो सारे अक्सर आते थे और हमारी उनके साथ meetings होती थी और मैं नहीं बिल्कुल relate कर पाता था उनके साथ. और उनका जो पर्सनल कोई क्रिएटिव डायरेक्टर था उसने मुझे एक दफ़ा कहा था कि कोई नेस्कैफ़े बेसमेंट की बात हो रही थी और उसके म्यूजिशियंस की बात हो रही थी कि वो तो उसके साथ बजा रहा है, वो उसके साथ बजा रहा है. और फिर उसने कहा था कि और आप क्या कर रहे हैं, आप यहाँ पे इनके लिए काम कर रहे हैं. और फिर मुझे हुआ था कि ये बंदा काफ़ी सही बात कर रहा है, मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, what am I doing with my life? So then I quit working for those guys and then after that, a friend of mine had just started up an advertising agency, and he sort of asked me कि तुम please मेरे लिए काम कर लो. And he was paying me more money and like lesser hours थे उसके अंदर. So I thought, okay, maybe I can work for him and work on Keeray Makoray's EP
side में
with the free time that I'm getting side में. तो वो पे मैंने कुछ 6 महीने के लिए किया था.
And you were making jingles. You were still doing musical stuff on the side with your job?
I wasn't making any jingles or stuff.
अच्छा.
मतलब हाँ, I had made jingles before, but इस तरह commercial level के ऊपर नहीं कि मेरा एक studio है और properly treated कमरा है, equipment भी सारी सही है. So what happened after that was, after like working with my friend for like I think 6-7 months, I was done because essentially this was advertisement, and I hated advertisement.
Even this one.
So then I left and I went for this program called IEI Pakistan, where I had to spend a month in this village called Misgar Valley, and this is way up north. This is like right by the Pak, Afghan and Tajikistan border.
अच्छा.
बिल्कुल कोने में पाकिस्तान के. वहाँ पे 1 महीना मैंने spend किया था, where I was teaching kids academics, science and maths and stuff, but I was also teaching them music. So that was a really beautiful 1 month that I got to spend over there. And when I came back from there, I didn't have a job for the first time after graduating. And at that point, I don't know, something happened, but I started getting clients that wanted their songs produced. And I was just working from my room. तो मैं अपने कमरे से काम करता था. एक rapper भी आता था मेरे पास अक्सर. And I started making money from this. Like, I didn't have to worry about money because these guys were coming in and paying me.
Right.
So, like a couple of months after that, I just thought कि maybe I should just set up a studio, because अब क्योंकि जब हमने अपना घर बनाया था, मेरे अब्बू कहते रहते थे कि बेसमेंट में मिसबा का स्टूडियो होएगा. So I thought कि अच्छा ठीक है, स्टूडियो ही बना लेते हैं.
Yeah.
So that's how Rescue the Frog studio came into existence.
And now what kind of work do you do there?
I do all kinds of work, like commercial. There are like commercial projects होते हैं, but so that I can sustain myself and I can make money. But at the same time, with the free time that I have, I try to engage with artists, like small city sessions हम लोग कर रहे होते हैं. But also I try to collaborate with artists. इस तरह शुरू में शोरबा नूर के साथ एक गाना किया था. अभी भी हम लोगों ने एक गाने के ऊपर काम किया है with this really cool girl called Nia. She's a rapper. And like there has been a lot of collaborations. एक jam space भी है वो, and there are plans to sort of have these live shows happening over there. But yeah.
Chalo, so that's a very brief and rapid overview of your career so far.
Yeah.
If you want to call it that. So tell me, what do you think about the music industry in general? Like, one thing I'm interested in is that you have been on Nescafe Basement, you've worked at an advertising studio or an agency, and after that you also worked at another advertising agency, and now you run a studio that also does some commercial projects. How do you balance those things, that kind of commercial aspect and the music aspect? And I know you've also done a lot of gigs with Levi's.
That's not really.
Do you ever think of yourself as a sellout, Misbah?
Not really. If I were a sellout, I'd be making a lot of money. Not making a lot of money.
You're an unsuccessful sellout.
I guess I am. But I haven't really tried to sell out.
You saw that badly.
उस तरीके से किया ही नहीं ना कि यार full sell out करते हैं. मतलब कि वो तरीके पता है कि वो full sell out करने के क्या है. There is a certain way to make music and a certain kind of music that you can make to sell out. I'm not saying कि बहुत easily you start making the big bucks.
Yeah.
But even if like sell out हो जाए, ठीक है.
I'm just kidding.
Even then you can't really make a lot of money in Pakistan.
Like, you have to be the 1% of the 1%, right, to start making like crazy amounts of money.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's like it is everywhere in the world. It's like if you're part of that 1%, you are making insane amounts of money, and then the rest of the 99% is just kind of getting by.
Yeah, but like for musicians in Pakistan, the rest of the 99% aren't even getting by.
Yeah.
Get it? So like we have all of these Coke studio artists that are making a lot of money. and then we have the rest of the musicians that aren't making money. Get it? तो वो वाला infrastructure ही exist नहीं करता where musicians can just get by. It's like it's also it's I guess it's almost impossible. Like before this pandemic, I had like 2 part-time jobs as a music teacher for 2 different schools, and that's what was keeping me alive, because I couldn't rely on income from my studio or session gigs or whatever, क्योंकि वो तो कभी होती हैं कभी नहीं होती. So that's what it is in Pakistan, I guess.
So like, but what about the commercial aspect? Like, you say you know how to make money. Why don't you?
नहीं, मैंने ये भी कहा कि like even if you try to be commercial, even then it's really hard to make money.
Right.
Like for example, I don't know, but like I think Shamoon Ismail is pretty big, right?
He's breaking out. I mean, I would say he's one of the first artists that has broken out of indie into the mainstream.
But do you think he's making a lot of money?
Yeah, I mean, I think he has the potential to make a lot of money.
But is he making a lot of money?
Maybe not right now.
I don't think he's making a lot of money. I don't think he's making the kind of money that he should be making.
Abhi uska gana aaya na, and he's complaining about his girl asking for Gucci bags and Louis hats and all this kind of stuff. So if he's buying his girl Gucci bags and Louis hats,
well, his girl is complaining about it, right?
And she's not happy with the sushi either. So you know, he must be throwing money, and she's
but
she's
then
not happy.
हमें पता नहीं है कि उसका economic background क्या है.
Yes.
हो सकता है कि वो पैसे उसके नहीं हो, क्या वो Spotify से कमा रहा होगा इतने ज़्यादा पैसे.
I don't know how much can you make from Spotify.
I mean, you can't make that much. You can make
YouTube,
a lot of money.
I guess he's maybe YouTube, Spotify. I mean, the thing is that I look at Shamoon and I'm like, surely do you feel hopeful looking at that kind of stuff? Like, oh, there is capacity to break out.
I do feel hopeful. But at the same time, मैं उसके income sources भी देख रहा होता हूँ कि किस तरीके से कर रहा है, क्योंकि he doesn't get a lot of shows. पाकिस्तान में इतने shows तो होते नहीं हैं.
अच्छा, he doesn't. I feel like he used to do a lot of university shows.
Yeah, exactly, university shows हैं, but like वो भी एक छोटा सा chunk है ना, मतलब कि
sure.
If you go somewhere else, काफी ज़्यादा shows हो रहे होते हैं.
Yeah.
सिर्फ universities में नहीं होते, हर जगह हो रहे होते हैं. जिस तरह के artists को बहुत ज़्यादा opportunities मिल रही होती हैं. They make a lot of money.
Of course, yeah. I mean, if it was anywhere abroad, then he would probably be playing almost every day.
Pata nahi, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he is making shitloads of money.
Maybe, yeah. We don't.
But I don't think so. Because the thing is that for artists here, the ones that have made it, the only time that they've made shitloads of money is when they've worked for big brands like Coke and Pepsi and Nescafe. Matlab, that's how these guys made a lot of money. So I don't, apart from maybe Atif Aslam.
That's what I was thinking when I was thinking of the
Atif
1%.
Aslam, Rahat Fateh Ali Khan, like these guys are the ones that are making a lot of money by performing.
Okay, what were you talking about?
The artists that make a lot of money.
I was saying that Atif Aslam, I think, is probably the 1%. That's who I would think about, would be like, okay, he's mashallah doing well. Boys are doing very well.
No, he's not like उस 1% के अंदर, but apparently Ataullah Isa Khelvi भी आ जाता है.
Yes.
Like he's also making a lot of money. Rahat is like, but Rahat is someone that made it to Bollywood, so obviously.
Once you cross the border, then you've made it.
You've made it.
तो Shamoon का हमें नहीं पता.
हमें नहीं पता.
We're gonna have to ask Shamoon for his financial reports.
You're actually right कि ये चीज़ मुझे actually काफी hopeful करती है, because Shamoon didn't get any corporate backing or whatever, right?
No, he didn't. Not that I know of. He literally just kept pumping out music. Like I actually proper do respect that. Like ठीक है, वो जो भी चुस्से मारता है on social media या whatever and whatever he gets.
ऐसा तो ना बोल यार, वो सुनेगा तो mind कर देगा.
नहीं मैं उसका, I'm not criticizing him. I'm saying that he says something on social media, then he gets attacked for it, and then he apologizes badly or whatever he does. You know, I'm just like, part of me is just like, all artists should just be off social media in that sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, talking about politics in that way, you're 99% likely to eventually say something stupid.
Yeah, that's true.
नहीं?
हाँ, that's true. But मुझे तो कुछ उसके इस चीज़ के बारे में नहीं पता.
अच्छा, but I think he made some he made some tweet and then he got attacked for it, and then he apologized. He was just like, sorry if you felt bad. He did one of those apologies, no?
What was that tweet?
But I think I actually have no idea. I don't want to say anything that I don't know about. लेकिन उसने कुछ
offensive बात थी.
हाँ कुछ I guess offensive बात ही होगी. I don't know how offensive it is. You never know what people are getting offended by these days, but you know.
हाँ चलो.
Anyway, so what I'm saying is that he's been cancelled a couple of times on social media. and then he does a really half-hearted apology, which just makes me laugh most of the time. And then, you know, what were we saying?
Yeah, बस discuss कर रहे थे कि उसका.
I'm not criticizing him. What I was saying is that I respect the fact that he literally just kept putting out songs. He came out with the Cookie EP, and then I think it was about Brown Sugar. He came out with that EP, and
Marijuana is a jam.
It's a great song, dude.
Yeah.
Backup Plan of Brown Sugar, I think, is the second EP that got big. That's a great song.
Yeah.
So he's putting out good stuff that is poppy, but also kind of interesting to listen to.
Yeah.
And ठीक है उसका flow.
And I don't think it's that poppy. मतलब कि
अच्छा.
हाँ पता नहीं. I don't know. I guess वैसे मैंने इतना ज़्यादा नहीं सुना हुआ उसको. But like the first time I heard Marijuana, मुझे लगा कि अच्छा ये तो काफी interesting है.
Yeah, it's a great fun song.
I guess the production isn't as poppy उस तरीके से.
अच्छा, I don't know about the production.
ज़रा retro सी है तो मुझे ज़रा अच्छा लगा था वो.
Yeah.
But
so yeah, I would say that I would look at that and be like, okay.
I think we need to ask him if he's making a lot of money. Yeah. Because if he is making a lot of money, that's good for us. Like that gives me hope. So someone like him who doesn't really have any corporate backing, he never came on TV, उस तरीके से तो.
Yeah.
He's still making money as a musician.
Mm-hmm.
और कोई ऐसे cases तो नहीं है.
Not that I can really think of that's broken out like the way that he has.
Yeah.
MashaAllah.
Amen.
Good for him. Good for him, bro.
Good for him.
So yeah, I think it means that there is a way, right? Even within
we don't know that.
Like, ठीक है, but I mean, come on, he just
for
came
example,
out with a song with
Abdullah
Asim
Siddiqui, like he's not making any money, is it? He's not making.
We shouldn't talk about people's like financial.
I don't think he's making any money.
I wonder if this guy is making any money.
Like he has 1 million views on Nescafe Basement because of
that's nuts, right?
It's more than that. It's like a couple of million views now. But so that makes him pretty popular. I'm sure Spotify से कुछ पैसे बन रहे होंगे.
हाँ.
But उसके अलावा तो नहीं कोई.
And he just did a collaboration with Shamoon Ismail.
He just did that.
Yeah. So you never know.
These are the kind of people you should have over for these podcasts. People that actually.
No, I'd much rather talk with you about how much money those guys are making
or not making.
It's literally gives me 2 hours. Like, I don't think he's making any money.
I don't think he's making a lot of money.
Are you making any money?
I'm like currently I'm not making any money. I've never made a lot of money from music. I recently, before the pandemic, we were about to. Like we had started working on this corporate show that I can't really talk about. But that's when I had started making some good money. And then
God was like, no. Who do you think you are?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And that money ended up becoming my apocalypse savings. कि मैं like उस zone में आ गया था. अच्छा, this money is something that I need to keep.
Right.
To help my family and myself because I'm gonna lose my jobs, which I did. और वो भी पैसे खत्म हो गए अब तो
आजकल कुछ भी नहीं चल रहा.
वैसे एक्चुअली नहीं खत्म हुए, थोड़े से रहते हैं वो
कुछ some things are trickling in.
हाँ. नहीं, मुझे कुछ प्रोजेक्ट्स मिल गए थे, कुछ कमर्शियल प्रोजेक्ट्स मिल गए थे.
Nice, okay, that's good.
Yeah. स्टूडियो के साथ बस लॉटरी टाइप सीन होता है. I think sometimes I get some really good projects that pay a decent amount of money and sometimes it just doesn't work.
Do you ever get depressed the fact that do you think about this a lot? About money?
Not really.
Acha.
Yeah.
Because I think people listening to this are just going to constantly thinking, like musicians are constantly thinking about money, but I mean, it's obviously a question you have to ask, right? You have to.
If you are if musicians are constantly thinking about money, they'd go insane. They shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
They should just live each day as it comes.
Yeah.
हाँ, वो अगर सोचना शुरू हो गया कि यार पैसे कैसे बनेंगे तो फिर तो कोई सीन ही नहीं है ना. That's why a lot of people quit and they get jobs and stuff because you can't live this life.
लेकिन what about the idea कि आजकल if you're doing any kind of creative art, any kind of creative work,
yeah,
you have to be a creative person, whatever, musician, artist, writer, whatever, a businessman, a distributor, a marketer. You have to be all of these things. You have to be an entrepreneur now, basically, right? You have to run your own social medias. You have to email people to get you, all this kind of different stuff, and also create your work.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
So this question of money just becomes a part of your daily life, right? You're just acting like a freelancer, essentially.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You are freelancing.
So doesn't that that must affect your psyche eventually, right? Like eventually the creative aspect becomes like 25% of your daily work, and then the 75% is other stuff that you're thinking about, like, yaar, aaj maine Instagram pe post karna hai, aaj maine Facebook pe ye post karna hai, yeah.
I haven't really done that, but I feel that it's got a lot to do with time management as well.
Yeah.
If you have good time management skills, you can actually do a lot of that. And I know a lot of musicians that have really good social media presence. Like I feel Natasha Humera Jazz has a really good social media presence.
Mm-hmm. Is she making money? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You were literally about to think.
She made a lot of music for like these films recently.
Acha.
So, but she's not making a lot of money. If that's what a lot of money would be. क्या जितने पैसे कौन बना रहा है? हमारा standard क्या है? A lot of money का.
I don't know. What would make you comfortable? Here's a good question. As a musician, what would you, if the government if we lived in a communist state where the government was like, you know what, all these artists deserve a monthly stipend. Stipend. So a monthly stipend to create their art, and you get a universal basic income. How much would you be like, that's a good amount that I would...
That's a good amount.
That's
decent amount.
That's a comfortable amount.
That's a comfortable amount.
That I would be able to create my art comfortably while also living and like being able to provide for...
Achha, while also paying the bills and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 120 type.
I was about to say maybe 1 lakh, 1
lakh, 120, yeah, chalo 150 I guess if they're being generous.
150
पे मैं secure हो जाऊंगा कि अच्छा ठीक है, I can sustain myself if I'm getting this income.
That's a lot.
Is it?
I guess. I mean, the national average पता नहीं कितना ज़्यादा है, but I guess it's a very
national average से अगर compare करो तो फिर तो बहुत bad scene है. लेकिन मतलब national average से compare करो तो फिर तो आपको फिर 50,000 में खुश रहना चाहिए बस.
Yeah.
But नहीं 50,000 में नहीं यार, मतलब I think
like I want iPhones, dude.
मुझे जो चीज़ fuck करती है ना वो ये कि मैं कभी कभार ये सोचता हूँ कि यार मैं कब तक इस तरीके से रहता रहूँगा. किसी पॉइंट पे मैंने शादी करनी है, ठीक है, और किसी पॉइंट पे शायद
बच्चे पैदा करने,
कोई बच्चा पैदा हो जाए तो उस टाइम भी मैं ये इसी जोन के अंदर होऊंगा कि यार ये पैसे किस तरीके से बनाऊँ मैं, ये कभी कोई प्रोजेक्ट आ जाए कभी ना आए, हमेशा बस एक स्ट्रगल है. ये चीज़ मुझे फक करती है. दैट्स वाई मैं कह रहा था कि अगर म्यूजिशियंस ये चीज़ सोचना शुरू हो गए तो वो तो पागल हो जाएंगे.
हाँ, बट हाउ कैन you can't escape, dude. You have to think about that eventually.
Just don't get married or don't have kids, I guess.
Just be alone.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to. Like, I guess don't have kids. Yeah, just marry a rich wife.
Yes. Now it's reversed, no?
Huh?
We're the gold diggers.
We're the gold diggers, dude. Huh?
Yeah. Please take me in.
That's a better idea.
Yeah. We have all these independent young career women.
A lot of women are making really good money.
MashaAllah. Now they have to, take care of it.
And then you really have to sell your persona of being this artist that can't really make money, but like we're working a lot. तो आप थोड़े से ज़्यादा attractive भी हो जाओगे, I guess.
Yeah, like we're dying for our art.
Yeah, वो पूरा concept ज़रा outdate हो गया.
I don't think it's outdated. I think people still like that idea that that the starving artist, but I just don't think it exists that much in Pakistan. Because, this conversation can get really, really boring really quickly. But there is also this element where people will be like, "Oh, I'm a broke musician." It's like, no, you're not. Right? Like, we have certain privileges as, fairly well-off people. I mean, I'm talking about myself. I don't know about what your personal situation is. But, everyone, when we say, like, I would be comfortable off this amount, what it means is comfortable in a different way. Do you know what I mean?
Like, हम अपने standard of living के बारे में बात कर रहे होते हैं ना?
Yeah, but also, like, for instance, if I was not paid for a month, I could get by. I could ask my parents for rent.
Yeah,
exactly. And thank God that they'd be able to cover me for rent for this month.
You have a massive
support
system. You and I have a massive safety net.
Yeah. कि
हमें पता है कि even if we run out of money, we're not gonna be broke.
Exactly.
Because we have these guys to support.
Right. Like, I'm not gonna get evicted.
तो वो तो एक understood सी बात है.
Understood सी बात है, I guess, but it's worth repeating because I think that's why you get to become an artist in the first place. Yeah,
that's true.
Right?
It's very true.
Which idiot would go and become an artist if they were actually starving?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, eventually you got to cut your losses, right? You got to be like, acha, ye nahi ho raha. Or Pakistan mein to, that's taken to the next level, na? Because there's not even the beginnings of an infrastructure.
लेकिन ये भी है कि at the same time जो artists जो थोड़े से economically थोड़ी सी bad situation में होते हैं, they work a lot and they work a lot of shit jobs जो हमारे ये वाले artists हैं जो कि indie artists हैं, वो like they look down on that stuff. मतलब कि वो जिस तरह शादियों में बजाएंगे, ठीक है, शादी bands बना लेंगे.
Why is that looked down upon?
I don't know, क्योंकि वो बस वो बड़ी typical सी वो music होती है और वो like obviously एक perspective है यहाँ पे इस मुल्क में musicians के बारे में, मरासी हैं और ये तो मतलब कि जलील होते रहते हैं वो. They don't make a lot of money from those gigs, but they do it so frequently कि they make a normal living out of it. और उस circle में से कभी कभार बहुत class के musicians भी निकलते हैं.
Have you ever played shadis?
I played at one shadi.
How was it?
It wasn't bad.
Acha. Did you have to play like Mehndi songs?
Yeah, I did play like वो लाल मेरी पत बजाया था.
Achha,
it was, but like I did that because they were giving us a lot of money.
Acha.
Yeah. They were giving us a lot of money. So this friend of mine, Farheen Jaffrey, she asked me and Zain Purich boy wala ke ek shadi hai and they're giving us a lot of money and they want us to play a couple of songs for them. तो हमने कहा था ठीक है कर लेते हैं. No one's gonna know, no one's gonna find out.
Yeah.
तो हमने कर ली.
You went wearing like disguises.
But
like
this was different क्योंकि मतलब अच्छे लोग थे उस शादी में. थोड़ी सी elite सी शादी थी.
अच्छे लोग थे.
हाँ मतलब कि like
only elites are
कोई उस तरह के लोग नहीं थे ना जो बोला मरासी आ गए हैं, जलील करने वाले नहीं थे. Like they were all respectful and stuff.
Okay.
वो वाला जो सीन होता है वो तो थोड़ा सा
intimidating वाला.
Intimidating or I mean I don't know.
What are you? Were you about to say something?
नहीं.
What are your? Are you optimistic or pessimistic about the state of the music industry right now in Pakistan?
I don't know about. I was optimistic before the pandemic.
Corona.
Before Corona. But I was optimistic because I had a lot of hopes for the film industry in Pakistan. And I feel कि वो filming industry का जो boom है, that's just gonna help us in the music industry to that might alleviate a lot of our problems.
Right.
क्योंकि projects मिलना शुरू हो जाएंगे. Generally entertainment industry अगर थोड़ी सी bolster हो जाए ना, यहाँ पे entertainment industry है ही नहीं क्योंकि entertainment number 1 तो news है ना पूरे मुल्क की. Like everyone's busy watching the news, but if they start watching movies and they start listening to some music, that's what's eventually going to help us.
Like the most listened to jingles are probably Geo News and ARY News's intro jingles.
Exactly.
the most identifiable thing.
बहुत incredible है ये form of entertainment. ये जो politics है, मतलब कभी कभार मैं भी गुम हो जाता हूँ. Like मेरे अब्बू का ये सीन होता है, वो सुबह उठते साथ पहली चीज़ वो बस खबरें लगाते हैं. And they pretend like they care about the country.
जो खबर सुनाते हैं.
नहीं, जो खबरें सुनते हैं. ठीक है. So that's the thing. Like this is a discussion that I would have with my parents.
Yeah.
आप लोग देखते हैं ये न्यूज़, लेकिन आप लोगों के लिए ये सिर्फ एंटरटेनमेंट है और कुछ भी नहीं है. You watch it like I would watch Breaking Bad.
It's a reality TV show.
Yeah.
Right? Like all the characters are ridiculous and over the top.
And it's amazing the way they would present it. वो वाकई बहुत sensational or like there's a lot of spice in it.
Yeah.
But what are they doing watching it? Like just being aware of it, they're not really...
But I mean, I think you're right. It's just not news anymore, right?
It's not news. It's entertainment, and everyone is hooked. Everyone is Pakistan. It's like they're hooked.
No.
इंडिया में चलो फिर भी like movies चलती है ना. बॉलीवुड का सीन तो है, ठीक है. और है मतलब कितनी vast population है कि छोटे circles में music का भी scene हो रहा होता है. यहाँ पे तो बस.
And it's 24 hours a day, like full on entertaining news as well.
Dude, अभी जो music चल भी रही है वो इस तरीके से चल रही है कि these brands pay these channels. ठीक है. A lot of money, Coke Studio या Pepsi, to play music. तो ये जो बीच में advertisements आ रही हैं essentially, that's how people listen to music, and that's how these people become stars.
Because we used to have like ARY music. We used to have.
We did.
क्या नाम था उसका?
आग भी था, ARY भी था, Indus Music था.
Indus Music भी था. I think there was another one that I used to listen to a lot.
Yeah, and that's when a lot of the good bands came out. Like Noori उस टाइम पे निकला था, EP निकला था, काफ़ी unknown से bands भी थे.
And there was like music video culture as well, which was fun.
Music video culture था. काफ़ी मज़े के bands उस टाइम पे निकले थे, मुझे अच्छी तरह.
That was like the 90s.
Sajid and Zishan came out.
भी वापस आ रहे हैं by the way.
वो वापस आ रहे हैं, लेकिन here's the thing, Sajid and Zishan तो काफ़ी मतलब अगर हम आज आते साजिद and Zishan तो उनका भी वही हमारा वाला हाल होता, full indie musicians होते हैं, ठीक है.
Yeah.
But वो उस टाइम पे आए थे और उस टाइम पे उनकी वीडियो टीवी के ऊपर चल रही थी, and that really changed a lot of things for them. There always changes a lot of things. Once you're on TV, you're suddenly a star.
So have your music videos ever played on TV?
Never. कहाँ पे play होंगी?
पता नहीं. Is there any? There's no channels anymore. No. But you get radio play.
Yeah.
I've heard your stuff on the radio.
हाँ, रेडियो के ऊपर काफ़ी.
Do you think it's? How effective do you think that is?
I don't really know. कभी ऐसा नहीं हुआ कि कुछ लोगों ने कहा हो कि यार वो मैंने गाना आपका रेडियो पे सुना था, but like होता भी है.
It must happen, huh?
Yeah, it does happen, but it's not like significant. कुछ इतने reach नहीं होती. But it helps, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not like TV though. Once you're on TV, वो तो फिर incredible reach मिलती है आपको.
हाँ. Especially when you had something like ARY music.
Yeah.
Like or whatever आग या जो भी था. Because I used to watch that a lot.
I used to watch that a lot.
That used to be the cool thing to do, right?
Yeah.
My parents would watch the news and then आप बस वो लगाते थे.
हाँ, और काफ़ी याद है एक ज़माने में वो एक गाना आता था, लैला टन 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 टन.
मुझे याद नहीं है.
बहुत weird गाने भी आते थे उसके ऊपर और वो बस जैम बन जाता था.
Because if you made an interesting video,
yeah,
even it didn't have to be interesting, even it just weird and kind
वो
of.
बस 2-3 दफ़ा अगर चल गया है और the channel is just on in the background, तो बस वो you just.
वैसे actually I'm thinking about it. What a weird model.
Why is it weird?
Because you would literally, wouldn't they just play the music videos over and over? It was just on a loop, right? Did they have shows? Yeah, they did have shows.
They had shows, dude. वो shows तो उनके होते थे, फिर वो top 10s भी होते थे, हाँ?
Where did Myra come from? Was she a VJ on?
I think she was.
हाँ, she was a VJ on one of these shows, no? On a music video show.
There was also a new.
Yeah, why did it go? Why did this fail?
Because like these news channels were making a lot more money than these channels. I remember especially जब Jio News आया था ना, तब तो सारे hooked थे news पे, सही है? And that was a game changer.
Yeah.
Jio News के सारे हर कोई बच्चा देखना शुरू हो गया था Jio News. और उन लोगों ने अपना आग स्टार्ट किया था जो कि एंटरटेनमेंट म्यूजिक चैनल था, और उन्होंने भी फिर बाद में हटा दिया कि बस सारे पैसे हम न्यूज़ में ही क्यों ना लगाएं.
Right.
and that's what's happening now.
Even though
मतलब गोरमे ने भी news channel बना दिया.
I can't imagine the artists were paid for those music videos, or were they?
नहीं, I don't think so.
नहीं होगा ना.
Yeah, but they didn't have to get paid ना, क्योंकि मतलब कि if their music is being paid, they're gonna start getting a lot of shows. उस time पे shows भी होते थे काफी ज़्यादा. The Musharraf era was very entertainment friendly.
Yeah.
हाँ, it was.
सही बात है. नहीं, हाँ, yeah.
काफी scene था उस वक्त.
So, okay, one last question because this has gone on for quite a while. But I feel like we haven't even scratched the surface, right?
We haven't?
I don't think so.
We haven't discussed what?
We haven't discussed barely any of your stuff. We've just been talking shit about how much other musicians make.
I don't know what you had in mind when you called me for this podcast.
It wasn't this. Achha, but anyway, yeah, just following on from that point, which is, do you think all of our issues can be traced back to the fact that there aren't any shows?
That there aren't any shows?
Live shows होते ही नहीं हो यहाँ पे. I mean, एक LMM होता है. And then you have like maybe another festival like the Mix that might happen every so often.
The Mix तो एक दफा हुआ था.
True Brew is
like वो तो एक छोटा सा एक venue है.
But still, I mean, I think it's an important function. There's also the Colony.
Yeah,
but indie musicians may like. When was the last time you played at a cafe?
Actually, we did play at a cafe quite recently, but it was a new cafe. एक नया cafe कोई खोला है, Cafe Social. Those guys asked us to play because they were opening their cafe, and like they have this idea कि यहाँ पे stand-up comedy होएगी and we're going to call comics and musicians every weekend.
Okay.
So yeah, that was
okay. Fair enough.
Yeah,
but I mean, like moving on, like you know how you said that you would give your music video to a channel like one of these new TV channels for free because you knew that if you got enough play on there and if you got any traction, उसके बाद फिर आप shows भी कर सकते थे ना.
हाँ. But even that isn't.
Without the back end of that, then there's no point, right?
Dude, but the thing is, कि like I mentioned the Musharraf era, which was entertainment friendly. उसके बाद something happened जिसकी वजह से वैसी generally you don't see a lot of shows happening because the entertainment tax is quite crazy.
बहुत crazy है.
ठीक है. And which is why जो भी बंदा सोचेगा कि मैंने concert organize कराना है, they're not gonna do it.
Yeah,
because
you have to be nuts
they're
to
not gonna make any money out of it. So why shouldn't they spend their time and money on something else?
Acha, what were you saying about entertainment tax? We have to keep cutting this because the cameras have 25-minute, 30-minute limits. But
बस ये आखिरी 25 minute.
ये आखिरी 25 minute है. हाँ. जल्दी से पास करो जो भी करना है.
यार ये pressure तो ना डाल यार. अच्छा, एंटरटेनमेंट टैक्स का मैं ये कह रहा था कि यार शोज़ इस वजह से भी नहीं हो रहे क्योंकि किसी के लिए प्रॉफिटेबल नहीं है शोज़ करना. तो फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल अभी रिसेंटली आई वाज हैविंग दिस डिस्कशन विद मिकाल हसन and he's really frustrated about the things that are going on over here, ठीक है. And he wants live shows to happen. He wants music in general to happen over here, and he's very passionate about musicians over here that aren't really doing much because of the state of affairs, and he really wants to turn things around. So he came up with this idea of Koblampi, which is a festival.
Yeah.
पता है तुझे ना उसका?
Yeah, I went to the Lahore one. It was
तो Koblampi का ये सीन है कि it was his idea, and him and this a couple of other people, they spend a lot of money, a lot of their own money into this, and then all of us musicians, a lot of musicians, like 10-15 musicians, we play at this show for free just so we can generate the culture of live shows and stuff.
Right.
क्योंकि Mikal Hassan का point ये है कि we need to start doing this so that people realize how much fun this is.
Exactly.
And once they do, they're going to start paying us money for this. और वो ticketed होता है, but it's not as expensive.
Yeah.
तो these guys have been like इनको losses होते रहे हैं जो 2 Koblampi इन्होंने कराए हैं, but like before pandemic we had a lot of plans कि अच्छा अब तीसरा Koblampi कराची में होएगा, but like they can't. और अब क्योंकि इसके अंदर वो कोई profit motive उस तरीके से नहीं है, तो नहीं बल्कि they are making money, but like they're going at a loss. क्योंकि there's no way कि they could actually make some good money out of this.
Yeah, unless it scales, unless you do more.
Unless the government, like we need that support from the government. At least tax.
How much is the entertainment tax?
पता नहीं, I think कोई 14-15%.
Yeah, I heard 16 maybe percent. I don't know how much it is.
मुझे पता था, मैं भूल गया.
I don't know how much it is.
But it's not just the entertainment tax. वो entertainment tax के ऊपर और भी बहुत सी चीज़ें आ जाती हैं. क्योंकि वो I guess वो lobby.
Every time you need an NOC as well, right? It's just a lot of.
NOC is the first step. उसका इतना मसला नहीं होता, लेकिन फिर उसके बाद मतलब कि यार सीन ये कि जो भी events होता है, for example LMM होता है, तो LMM can't really work without corporate sponsorship.
Right.
इस दफ़ा भी जब LMM हुआ तो हर जगह बस पेप्सी का लोगो था, and those guys actually had to sort of fight with Pepsi, क्योंकि Pepsi was like कि तुम लोग इसको Pepsi presents LMM type कोई चीज़ करो, and they were like कि नहीं, we can't do that, क्योंकि मतलब LMM जो आपको एक chance दे रहा है to advertise, you're not giving us a chance to do this.
Sure, right. Like they built their brand.
Yeah.
LMM has built the brand for the last 5 years.
Exactly. But फिर भी हर जगह LMM के अंदर बस बड़े बड़े पेप्सी के बैनर्स लगे हुए थे, क्योंकि no one can do an event like that without corporate sponsorship. So you need a lot of money that someone's willing to waste. Like they're not going to make any profit out of it.
Yeah.
So ये that's why even live shows won't really help. अगर सितारे चल पड़ा टीवी के ऊपर तो मुझे कोई लाइव शोज नहीं मिलना शुरू हो जाएंगे.
Right,
मिलेंगे तो यूनिवर्सिटीज में मिलेंगे, I guess.
That's what I meant, right? Like if it only works if you have the back end. If you don't have the back end, which is the shows, then running a music video, it doesn't do anything for anyone really.
Yeah. I mean, there are shows, like for example bands like Bayan, they're doing a lot of shows, but they're not as frequent. कि बस उनकी लाइव्स बहुत कंफर्टेबल हो जाएं. वो यही होती है, यूनिवर्सिटीज में ही होते हैं ज़्यादातर शोज.
Right. How was your experience on Nescafe Basement? That was like a corporate show you've done. We sell out.
It was really nice. Yeah, that was the first time I sold out. Actually, but it was really nice. It was fun. Zulfi is a really interesting person to work with, and like it's fun because you meet a lot of different musicians, and you work with them. It's a lot of work. But it's fun. That's all there is to it. It's just fun.
Yeah. You didn't feel any of that corporate energy? Sorry, if Zulfi is the one behind it, then I guess that gives it kind of directorial vision. Yeah,
corporate scene hota tha when it came to the mixes themselves. Like when Zulfi bhai would start mixing these songs, तो वो corporates बोलते थे कि आवाज़ ऊंची कर दें, जो vocals हैं वो ऊंची कर दें, जबकि वो he didn't necessarily agree with that. This is something that I remember. तो वो एक issue होता था, और obviously और भी back end पे issues होते होंगे. I'm sure there was a lot of stuff that he was aware of that he would वो बोल देते होंगे कि यार ये ना करो, ये चीज़ ना करो. But definitely there is a lot of, that's the problem with these corporate shows ना, कि मतलब कि पीछे there is a corporate entity that's always sort of dictating or looking over your content. वो होना नहीं चाहिए. Art and music.
Yeah. So let us know what you think in the comments, if you agree or if you disagree. Please do subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud or YouTube. We're on all of these platforms. Let us know what you think. Thanks for listening.